Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. I have a cute little Christmas tent, triangle box, whatever you want to call it, to share with you today. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I've done this box before and I did it last year sometime. I thought, well, it's time for a revival, so I've done it again. So I hope you're going to like this little gift box for Christmas. It opens like this. It says, "Thinking of you this festive season." And this paper actually has gold foiling in it, that's why it's catching the light. And it has a magnetic closure and it opens up like that. And this uses the Lights Aglow Designer Series paper. Now this version is soft succulent, as you can see. I'm going to do cherry cobbler next, so you can tell me which one you prefer, the soft succulent or the cherry cobbler. So let's set this out of harm's way. I have my template. Now this template will be on the blog post on my website, and the link to that can be found in the description box below, and it's also where you'll find the supply list and all the measurements and all that good information that you'll need. So I have a piece here of cherry cobbler cardstock, and this piece of cardstock measures 9 3/4 inches by 7 inches. Now according to my template I need to score at 1 3/4 inches, which is just there, 4 1/4 inches, 7 1/4 inches. Okay, so 1 3/4 inches, 4 1/4 and 7 1/4. Change it to the short side, and here I'm going to score at 2 inches. Whoops, don't jump the track. 2 inches, and I'm going to turn it around to the other side and also score again at 2 inches. Okay, just like that. So I'll set the scoreboard aside because we're finished with it for now, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to show you on my templates what we're going to do. So you can see on my template, if I line this up, what we're going to cut away. We're going to cut this section, so these two sections here, these two sections here, this one and this one, only leaving this middle section here in the middle, just like that. So you can see there, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so now you can either do this with your scissors or with your trimmer. I'm going to do it with my trimmer for now, the easy way I find. I'm sorry if my head is in the camera, it needs to be so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to cut away these sections that I showed you. Okay, and because the trimmer has these little score lines, you can see how far down you are cutting, which is very useful. Okay, and now I'm just going to use my scissors actually to cut out these extras, because I can't see so well with all these lights that I have on for filming. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know I have a ton of lights, studio lights for filming. So there's like the center light with 5 little lights in it, and then plus 2 studio lights, so it can be a bit bright. Okay, so you've cut out, should have cut out all those pieces. So now your template should match your cardstock. Now the next thing we're going to do using our trimmer is we're going to find the center point of these little panels, so these two side panels. Now these measured 2 inches, I think, so I'm just going to check. No, 3 inches. See, it's good to check. So we want to find the center point at 1.5 inches. which is there, and I'm going to make a little mark again with your scoring tool, just so you can see, and at 1.5 inches again, just a little mark with the scoring blade, just so you've marked the center. And now we want to score from that little mark that you can't see there to this point here. So line this up in the trimmer, just score like that. You've created, if you can see, almost a triangle effect. And you're going to do exactly the same on the other side, if you can see, that is. And last one. Okay, so there we've got our little triangles, you can see. So set that aside for a second, and I'm going to bring in our designer series paper. And this is the Lights Aglow designer series paper, as you can see. It's the same as we had before, except this is in the cherry cobbler, and I'm looking to see which colour I like best. I'm actually going to use the same pattern, but in the cherry cobbler. Now I want to show you how to cut this paper to make sure you get everything you need out of this one piece of designer series paper. So you're going to make your first cut at 2 3/4 inches. Okay, and since 2 3/4 inches is the width here, you need to make sure that's in the right orientation, just like that. Okay, so I want the orientation to be top to bottom, and I'm going to make my cut at 2 3/4 inches. Okay, and my next cut is going to be at 2 1/4 inches. Turn it around, and we're going to cut down 2 1/4, and we're going to cut again to 2 1/4, and then you should be left with a little piece, and this piece should measure 1 1/2 exactly, and that's what you want. You want all 3 pieces. So you're going to do exactly the same with the other piece. 2 1/4 inches. 2 3/4 inches, I should say, and then 2 1/4. But as I said, all of these measurements will be on the blog post, so do go and check that out. So you should have 4 pieces that measure 2 3/4 by 2 1/4, and 2 pieces that measure 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. Okay, set those aside, and then you have one little piece of scrap. That's all the scrap you should have from your piece of designer series paper. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and we're actually going to fold on all of these score lines that we created. Okay, just get that paper working. And then we're also going to fold on these diagonal score lines. So I'm just going to fold them in like this. Okay. So now you can see our box is going to come in like this, and then fold over. So we're going to stick down like that. Do you understand? So you've got your 2 pieces here. That's going to be your back, that's going to be your front, and that's going to be your flap, just like that. So we're going to start to put our paper down. Sorry about that, that's next door. So you're going to want to put the first piece here on 1 2, and that's going to be just there. So let's get a bit of Tombow. Yeah, next door tend to, he gets in the car and he hoots when the family's not quick enough to follow. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, so that's what we've got there. So now we can check back our orientation. So we can see, you can see, whoopsie daisy, on this where I've put paper. So the next one you're going to put is here, just like that. The reason I keep double checking is we're going to use magnets to close this, and I don't want to end up putting down my paper and then struggling with the magnets, as I did the first time I made this, and as I've done on many other occasions. So now I know we're going to be using magnets. So let's put our first piece down here, flaps down. There'll be no magnet on the outside, so we can put that piece there. Okay, so we've got one on here on the inside and two there on the outside. So if we're going to stick down on that side, now we're going to put our magnets here and here. So let's get our magnets, and they're just simple neodyme magnets, earth magnets. I'm just going to get some of this Terran tape to attach my magnets. So I'm going to have them on the inside, have this one on the inside flap. And then make sure this one's in the all right orientation by putting it on top. You don't want to end up putting your magnets and find they repel each other. That would not be good. Now on top of that magnet I'm also actually going to put a glue dot, just to help it stick initially. It's all wanting to stick to me, which is not unusual. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do after I've done my magnets now is start to glue in these two triangles to the top here, where you've got your magnet, you've got the spare square, and this is where we're going to glue just this section here of triangle. So let me show you. Sometimes it's easier to show than it is to put glue just on this section of the triangle. And then you're just going to bring up your side to meet your wall, as you normally do when you make any box, and making sure everything is really nice and straight. And just pinch that to hold that in place. And then you're going to do the same on the other side, sticking your fingers in the glue, of course, because that's just part of the fun. And pinch that and hold it in position. Okay, now we can bring this flap down, make sure everything looks nicely lined up, and press to I'll just keep on, make sure. There we go, our magnet's attached, as you can see. So now we can remove this piece of backing, and we can put down our designer series paper over the top. And then the same here on the other side. So I'm going to put this down, just centre it, and now you should be able to, should close up beautifully like that. Now your last piece of designer series paper, I'm actually going to stick in here. It's really dark, but just there to cover my 2 triangles that are showing. So I'm going to put it in there. So I wanted to sit in just like that. So this is when Tombow is really at its best, because it's going to allow me just to slip that in really simply. And just get that lined up as best as I can. And that just covers those triangles, and then you can see, bring that in, and there we have our little box. So cute. So clear the decks. We're going to do some stamping and some knocking over. Okay, so let's clear that. Stamp set is Merriest Moments, and we're going to use Thinking of You this festive season. And we're going to stamp in Cherry Cobbler, because that's what we've been using. And we need a scrap piece of basic white. So this will, let's use this piece here of basic white. Ink up our stamp, and then just down. Hold it in position, and there we go. Thinking of You this festive season. Close this up, set that aside. Now I did cut the original out here. If you can see, there's a little stitched line around it. So I used these dies, the stylish shape dies, and I can't remember which one I used, but we'll see soon enough. And it just fits just like that, and then I'm just going to hold it in place using a little bit of post-it note. So I'm just going to put through that through the die cutting machine, and I'll be back. Okay, so we cut out our little piece, and then I just matted it on a very thin piece of Cherry Cobbler. I could have used the same dies, but I wanted the mat to be just a very slim mat, so that's what I've done. So now we're going to stick this on the front here. So we're just going to put glue on the top 2/3, as you can see, of our sentiments. So let's just do that. I'm going to use just some, for ease, I'm just going to use some seal. That's a goodly amount on. And then just going to line it up where I think it should go. And give it a press down like that. And then it will close just like that. And there you have it. So, do you prefer soft succulent, or do you prefer Cherry Cobbler? Let me know, which is your preference, A or B? You know, soft succulent or Cherry Cobbler. But either way, I think they're very cute little gift box. So I hope you like it. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give me a thumbs up so YouTube know. And please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. As I said, all the information is on my blog post, and the links to that and all my social media links, including the link to my Facebook group where we make projects just like this in an online card club once a month. You can find all the details there, so do check it out. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye!